So, the real estate giant Douglas Elliman just made some huge announcements that signal a major strategic shift. They're selling off a big piece of their business to go all in on luxury. In this explainer, we're going to break down why they think getting smaller is actually the secret to getting a whole lot stronger.
It kind of sounds backwards, right? In a world where bigger is almost always seen as better, Elliman is making a huge bet on focus. So, how does a powerhouse like this come to believe that selling off a profitable division will actually give them the upper hand? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so to really understand this, we've got to start with the numbers. Let's take a look at the financial report card that really set the stage for this big pivot. So check this out. In the third quarter of 2025, the company pulled in nearly $263 million in revenue. Now, that is a massive number, for sure, but it was actually a slight dip from the $266 million they did in the same quarter the year before. But, and this is the really interesting part, even with that little dip in revenue, the company's bottom line actually got better. They managed to shrink their net loss from over $27 million all the way down to under $25 million. So that tells you they were already finding ways to operate more efficiently.
And here's the kicker. Even with these mixed results, they were sitting on a very, very healthy pile of cash. We're talking $143 million. Having that kind of money in the bank gives you options. It gives you the flexibility to make some really bold moves.
Okay, so with that financial picture in mind, let's get to the main event, the pivot itself.
In late October, Elliman made two massive moves. First, they sold their entire property management business for a cool $85 million. Second, they used that strong cash position to just, poof, wipe out all of their convertible note debt. That's a type of short-term debt that can be turned into company stock, and getting rid of it just cleans up the books, big time.
And if you're wondering why they did all this, well, the president and CEO, Michael Leibowitz, he laid it out perfectly. He said the goal was to transform Elliman into a focused, financially strong luxury brand.
So what does that even mean? What does it actually mean to be a pure luxury brand in today's market?
It means Elliman is doubling down on what they're famous for. They're getting rid of the distractions, the side businesses, so they can pour every single resource into absolutely dominating the high-end residential market. They don't just want to be a player, they want to be the name in that space.
And listen, this isn't just some marketing slogan. They are putting their money where their mouth is. For one, they're expanding globally, planting their flag in super luxe markets like France and Monaco. They're also investing in some seriously powerful tech, like a new AI assistant for their agents. And on top of all that, they're bringing in new business heavy hitters to their board to help guide the strategy.
Now here's what I find so fascinating about this whole thing. This move, it goes completely against the grain of what pretty much everyone else in the real estate industry is doing right now.
I mean, you look around the real estate world, and the big trend is consolidation. It's all about mega mergers, with companies trying to get bigger and bigger to cover more ground. But Elliman, they're making a totally different bet. They're saying, nope, we're not going wide, we're going deep. They believe that specialized focus is the real key to winning.
And just in case anyone thought this was a sign of weakness, maybe that they were getting ready to be acquired themselves, well, CEO Michael Leibowitz shut that down. And he shut it down fast. He came out with this crystal clear statement. Elliman is not for sale. Plain and simple. They're charting their own course. All right, so let's pull all these threads together. What does this new, leaner version of Elliman actually look like from a competitive standpoint?
When you look at the whole picture, you see a completely transformed company. By shedding that extra business and clearing the debt, they now have a rock-solid, debt-free balance sheet. They have a laser-sharp focus on the luxury market. They're expanding their global reach, and they're equipping their agents with cutting-edge AI tools. This whole package, that is their new competitive advantage.
And that leaves us with the big, multi-million-dollar question, doesn't it? In an industry that is absolutely obsessed with scale, with just getting bigger and bigger, will Douglas Elliman's bold, contrarian bet on becoming a more focused, pure-play luxury powerhouse actually turn out to be the winning strategy? Only time will tell.